Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jai Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe. Jai Krishna Balaram Jai Krishna Balaram. Jai Nitai Gaurango Jai Nitai Gaurango. Jai Prahlāda Narsimha Jai Sudarshana. Jai Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupad Paramhans Parivrajagacharya Ashtottar Shat Śrīmad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramhans नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा। श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौरांग की जय। श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to the simple devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, first canto, 10th chapter, text number 2. What is the name of Wi-Fi network here? ठीक है, no problem. Ask. सूत उवाच वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्ने निर्हृतं। वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्नि निर्हृतं। संरोहयित्वा भव भावनो हरिः। संरोहयित्वा भव भावनो हरिः। निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो। निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो। युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूव। ह युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः। सूत उवाच वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम्। संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः। निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो। युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः। सूत उवाच वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम् संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः सूत उवाच वंशं कुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम् संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्य ईश्वरो मना बभूवः सूत उवाच शंकुरोर्वंशदवाग्निर्हृतम् संरोहयित्वा भवभावनो हरिः निवेशयित्वा निजराज्यईश्वरो युधिष्ठिरं प्रीतमना बभूवः सूत उवाच Sut Goswami replied, Vansham, dynasty, Kuroho, of King Kuru, Vanshadava Agni, a forest fire set by the bamboos, Nirhritam, exhausted, Samrohayitva, seedling of the dynasty, Bhavabhavanaha, the maintainer of creation, Harihi, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Niveshayitva, having re-established Nijarajye, in his own kingdom, Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord, Yudhishthiram, unto Maharaj Yudhishthir, Pritamanaha, pleased in his mind, Babhuvaha, became. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Suta Goswami said, Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthir in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. Please repeat. Suta Goswami said, Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthir in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. Purport. This world is compared to a forest fire caused by the cohesion of bamboo bushes. Such a forest fire takes place automatically, for bamboo cohesion occurs without external cause. Similarly, in the material world, the wrath of those who want to lord it over material nature interacts, and the fire of war takes place, exhausting the unwanted population. Such fires or wars take place, and the Lord has nothing to do with them. But because he wants to maintain the creation, he desires the mass of people to follow the right path of self realization, which enables the living being to enter into the kingdom of God. The Lord wants the suffering human beings to come back home, back to him, and cease to suffer the threefold material pangs. The whole plan of creation is made in that way, and one who does not come to his senses suffers in the material world by pangs inflicted by the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord therefore wants his bona fide representatives to rule the world. Lord Shri Krishna descended to establish this sort of regime and to kill the unwanted persons who have nothing to do with his plan. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the Lord, so that undesirable persons could get out of the world and a peaceful kingdom under his devotee could be established. The Lord was therefore fully satisfied when King Yudhishthir was on the throne and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit was saved. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So in this chapter we are trying to understand how Lord Krishna settled the Pandavas and he departs for Dwaraka. In the previous verse, last class, we understood that Maharaj Yudhishthir was not at all interested in ruling but ruled as a matter of duty. And this was the mentality of Maharaj Yudhishthir, his pure devotee. He was not at all interested in enjoying the opulence. And what is the mind of Lord Krishna? That is revealed here. That Lord Krishna Pritamanaha Babhuvaha. Lord Krishna was very much pleased. Why Lord was very much pleased? Because his pure devotee was sitting on the throne. And pure devotee will execute the plan of Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna has got a plan here in this material world. What is the plan? The plan is to take the living entities back to Godhead, to give them a chance to go back to Godhead. That is the whole purpose of this creation. The purpose of opening prison houses to reform the criminal. Similarly, the purpose of this material world is that we all get reformed. So when the plan of Lord Krishna is executed, Lord Krishna becomes very much pleased, as was the case here. But this prison is very bad, somebody can tell. That's so much pain, so much trouble. So Lord Krishna is so angry that he punishes us like anything. So that understanding is also given here, that yes, this is definitely a prison house reformation center, and there is always a fire here. What kind of fire? Davagni, forest fire. Forest fire happens by cohesion of bamboos. They rub against each other and then automatically fire erupts. No external agency is required to set it ablaze. Similarly, Lord Krishna has got nothing to do with the fire or with the miseries that we are feeling in this material world. Yes, this is Reformation Center, and Lord Krishna is very kind. We can get reformed very happily here in this material world, simply if we try to follow the instructions of Lord Krishna. Our perverted mentality also will get corrected. Whatever enjoyment we wanted to have, that also a living entity can have here and go back. That is why the Vedic literatures are given. Lead your life according to the Vedic literatures. Be very, very strict in following the rules and regulations, and then the enjoying mentality will be fulfilled, satisfied, and person will go back to Godhead. But when living entity gives up, Shastra Vidhim, Usrijya, Vidhi, rules and regulations are there in the scriptures. When a person does not follow Shastra Vidhi, then na sukham. A person never gets happiness. He or she is always suffering in this world. Lord Krishna has got nothing to do with the suffering of the living entities here. Lord Krishna never wants that we should suffer. But the suffering is caused by, it is explained here, the fire. What is fire here? The anger. Yadu dynasty got destroyed. It is explained here because of the bamboo fire of anger. So the bamboo fire destroys the forest, creates fire in the forest. So that bamboo fire is the anger here. Anger of the living entities who want to lord over the material nature. So all the wars that we see that are happening around us, that is because some living entities want to lord over, and thus in anger they fight with each other, and thus there is mass scale destruction. And otherwise also in our lives also, the war, the struggle that we face, the competition, it is because we want to lord over material nature. And when two living entities want to lord over, then this fire is created. That is why the people are burning. Prabhupada gives very nice example. Naughty boys are given punishment by the teacher. What is the punishment? You pull each other's ears. Both are pulling each other's ears. So teacher is not involved at all. The boys are pulling each other, and just to get relief from the pain of ear pulling, he pulls himself back. And that pulls the ear of other person all the more. He feels pain, he further draws himself back. In this way, both are trying to reduce the ear of the pain of the ears, but the pain increases. In this way, living entities, they are trying to reduce the pain. The more they try to reduce, the more pain increases. Anyone has done this practice of pulling ears? Yes? How many have done? Better tolerate. If you take your head back, it pains all the more. He will also pull his head back. You suffer. So that is why the living entity, like naughty kids, are punished in the school. Western schools we do not know, Indian schools earlier, now also in schools also they cannot give. So the moment we try to get rid of the suffering, but lording over mentality is there, then we will suffer, continue to suffer. So that is why if we have to get rid of this forest fire, we have to get completely freed. Prabhupada explains very nicely. This devotional service means practicing how to become qualified. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. You have to become fully cleansed. Tatparatvena nirmalam. What is that? Anyavilashita shunyam. We have to become completely zero about material desires. Anyavilashita shunyam. Then you become qualified. So long you have got any pinch of material desires, you are disqualified. So sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. Only when we are nirmal, completely pure, then we can actually engage in service of Krishna. Then we can actually chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Thus Prabhupada tells, now we are not chanting, we are cleansing our heart. Real chanting happens on the liberated platform. So now we are first trying to cleanse our heart. Cheto darpana marjanam. When we are completely pure. And how do we become pure? When there is no desire, zero material desires. So long you have got any pinch of material desires, you are disqualified. Krishna says, Sarv dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. Parityajya means giving up completely 100%, no reservation. In this way surrendered, that is the qualification. Everything is there, no reservation. And Krishna will give you chance. So Prabhupada is telling, okay, if you do not surrender completely, why we don't surrender completely? We have material desires. So Krishna will give that chance also. All right, fulfill your material desires. So that is why it is very dangerous. Somebody was asking that, Prabhu, the person who is following the path of yoga very sincerely, but he is not able to complete his progress and he falls down. That is called yoga bhrashta. So what happens to him? Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe. Such a person takes birth in a very rich family, aristocratic family. So why such birth is given? Because there is risk. Prabhupada himself tells. The risk is he may get attracted by the wealth he has got, the resources, and he can get dragged into material enjoyment again. So why Krishna to a progressive yogi gives a chance to get dragged by the material desires? What is the answer? He wanted to advance in yoga practices. Krishna should have saved him. Why he has given such a birth that he may again get attracted by material allurements? So it is both ways. Yoga Bhrashta means he was following yoga. At the same time, he had material desires also. So thus Krishna gives chance both ways. You have material desires, there is chance for material advancement. And you have spiritual desire, that facility is also there. So Yoga Bhrashta, on the one hand, there is facility. There is no need to work hard for getting 2 square meals a day or basic necessities. That will be easily arranged. On the other hand, a person can get dragged, just like example is Bilva Mangal Thakur. Because he was advanced yogi, he became very rich. But because of this, again got addicted to prostitute, material enjoyment. So both ways are there. So because heart is not completely purified of a yog bhrashta, that is why he fell down. So Krishna has given chance now. Now you fulfill your heart's desire. But you had desire for spiritual advancement, this facility is also there. That is why such a birth is given. But if a person was very much advanced, then such birth will not be given in a family which is only rich. But such people take birth in family of pure devotees, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And of course, Prabhupada gives this example, myself also. But Prabhupada is not a Yog Bhrashta, neither Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj. They are eternal associates of Lord Krishna, liberated personalities. But a person who is very much advanced will get a rare birth in the family of pure devotees. And from the beginning, there is no chance of deviation. They will be trained in Krishna consciousness. So, thus, this allurement is given. This chance is there of getting into allurements because there were some desires in the heart. But if a devotee is very much advanced, but still he could not finish, then birth in family of pure devotees, then they finish it, fulfill it. That is why it is told here. Then you become qualified. So long you have got any pinch of material desires, you are disqualified. If even a pinch of material desire is there, we are disqualified. Nishkanchananam bhagavat bhajanon mukhasya paramparam jigmishor bhavasagarasya. Nishkinchan means nothing, not even a pinch of material desire, because there is no pinch in the material world. If a pinch is there, then very soon the pinch will increase, avalanche. In no time, a small rolling stone will become an avalanche, and the villages are destroyed. So that is why this pinch is very dangerous. That is why Krishna tells Tasmat Indriyani Adau Niyamya Bharatarshaba. Control the senses in the beginning itself. Chanakya Pandit says fire, disease, and debt should be finished immediately. Otherwise, they increase in no time. Debt becomes so huge that people have to commit suicide at times. Disease becomes very chronic, takes your life, and similarly, fire. In a similar fashion, senses also should be controlled in the very beginning. Later, it is very difficult. Krishna is telling, the Creator is telling, Tasmat, therefore, Indriyani Adav, in the beginning itself you control. If you give a pinch of scope, then Maya topples us from our seat. So long we have got a pinch of desire. Oh, let me enjoy little bit, let me have some comfort. Then this little bit will destroy our spiritual life. Very, very dangerous. That is why it is told qualification is sarv dharman parityajya. Nothing else, no other desire. One should be thoroughly convinced and one should try to completely surrender. So sometimes some devotees tell, Prabhu Krishna is so kind upon me that I was nothing. Today I am very rich and I'm very successful. So this is not kindness. Maybe kindness, but may not be. This could be the result of offensive chanting. If we are chanting offensively, so the result will be, Prabhupada explains, material pains or pleasures of offensive chanting. As Prabhupada explains, this person was not a devotee of Lord Ramchandra. But he was doing Ram Kirtan always, and he became very powerful, one of the most well-known persons of the planet. Why? Because he was doing Kirtan regularly. So somehow or the other, the name is involved. So because they are chanting the names, material opulence will come. Chanting the Lord's name is the most auspicious activity. Even though Lord may not desire to give opulence, simply by this chanting, the opulence will come to a person. So we should be very careful. Opulence will come, and we may feel that that is why we can see sometimes the devotees become very, very successful, materially very opulent, center of attraction, very powerful. But then, if we see their spiritual life, if they are not following the rules and regulations nicely, then we have to understand this is the result of offensive chanting. We do not desire bhakti. Yes, Krishna will give material opulence easily. Krishna will give liberation also if you want by chanting. Akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradhihi. Tivrena bhakti yogena. You have material desires, desire of liberation, Krishna will give easily. But bhakti he does not give easily. So if I have chanted with some material desires, they will get materialized easily. They'll get fulfilled. But what would be the result? So just like one devotee was telling, he was initiated. And after initiation, he got admission into IIMs. He was from a regular college, but then he was able to make it to IIM. And what was the result when he went to IIM? He was about to jump out of his window, commit suicide. Somehow he got saved and he came and spoke to me a few years ago. So left his chanting everything to get entry, and then he is there. But the result is depression, so much so that he was about to jump. He was standing on the windowsill, and then he received a call from his father. Then he came to his senses. What am I doing? He saved himself and survived. Otherwise, he would have gone. So a person chanting 16 rounds initiated is having such a destiny that he is going to commit suicide. So that is why we should be very, very careful. Offensive chanting will give us material opulence, but because we have got material desire, so the Davagni forest fire will continue. We will not get relief. That is why offenseless chanting is required. Anya Vilashita Shunyam, Prabhupada explains this is the qualification. We should understand this nature of material world. So much suffering is there only because of this material desire. Krishna has no interference here. Krishna does not create suffering. We create suffering because of material desires that we harbor in our heart. So that is why Anyabhilashita, no other desire. I have understood the nature of material desires. All the fire in my life, all the troubles in my life, struggles in my life after life have been because of the material desires. So now let me not take interest in this business of maintaining material desires. Let me become free and surrender completely unto Krishna. Otherwise, our chanting remains offensive. Heart does not become clean. That is why this Vairagya Vidya Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Supreme Personality himself, and he appeared here. But even though he has got all opulence, he is the master of millions of Lakshmis. And even when he incarnated here, had very caring mother, very beautiful wife, young wife, but still he renounced to set an example how this Vairagya Vidya is very important. And thus Prabhupada explains also very nicely how Mahaprabhu exemplified this with his own life. He was taking bath on the bank of Ganges, and the Brahmanas take bath there 3 times a day. So the Brahmanas would come there, and after taking bath, they will do Gayatri. This is a system. Once we take Brahman Diksha, we are supposed to do Gayatri Mantra for purification. And so they have to sit in a place. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrange the place, clean the place so that Brahmanas can, after taking bath, sit over there. So the one Brahmana, he became very pleased by this service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he blessed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What was the blessing? Oh, you have done very nice service. You are such a nice boy. May you remain always happy. And may you have a very nice family life with very nice children. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he heard, immediately closed his ears. Oh, this is not boon, this is punishment. Oh, this is punishment? Okay, then let you never remain happy in material life, in your family life. Mahaprabhu told us this is very nice. So we are not able to surrender because we want to remain happy here. But happiness here is against the plan of the Lord. The so-called happiness is the trap. That is why living entity gets stuck. There is little happiness, and this little happiness creates unlimited trouble here in this material world. So thus Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became alarmed when he heard this boon. Oh, happy material life. No, no, no. He closed his ears. I do not want this blessing of remaining happy in family life. And then he got cursed. May you never remain happy. And then Mahaprabhu told, this is very nice. So this is called Vairagya Vidya. Vairagya Vidya, Nij Bhakti Yoga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here to teach this. So Vairagya, renunciation. Unless we have Vairagya in our life, renunciation, strong detachment, there is no question of happiness. Not possible. Our happiness depends on Vairagya, how much renunciation we have in this material world. So that is why strong detachment is required. But this detachment is not easy. So how do we get this detachment? Yes, we have heard a lot that yes, material world is sansara davanal, forest fire. Material desires are the cause of all the problems. I should surrender completely. But these material desires don't go away. Vairagya is very difficult. So how do we get Vairagya? Yes. Yes. Vairagya will happen when there is realized knowledge. Realized knowledge means I am thoroughly convinced. When I am thoroughly convinced, yes, this is fact. Material enjoyment, a pinch of desire of material enjoyment means unlimited pains in my life. When the living entity is thoroughly convinced of this point, then automatically one will execute. Just like when we are thoroughly convinced, yes, this job will make me happy, then a person sacrifices everything to get that job. People write examination 2 years, 4 years, 7 years, 10 years, applying for the same exam. Why? Because he's convinced if I get this position, I'll become very happy. So, similarly, if you are thoroughly convinced that yes, Vairagya I want, this material detachment is required, with this Gyan, we will be able to. But this Gyan also does not come easily. I have read a lot, I have heard a lot. So, how does this Gyan come? Realize knowledge. Yes. What is the shloka? वासुदेवे भगवती भक्ति योग प्रयोजिता जनयति आशु वैराग्यम ज्ञानम चयद हेतुकम. Oh, Prabhu, it will take a very long time to get this knowledge to become realized. It will not take long time. It is told Ashu. Ashu means immediately, very soon. This knowledge and resultant renunciation appears very soon in the heart when Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha, when a person engages himself in Bhakti Yoga. That is why Prabhupada tells for this there is Vidhi Marg, there are rules and regulations to help you cultivate this Vairagya Vidya, this detachment. Vairagya Vidya, this knowledge and detachment, or knowledge of detachment. It has got both meanings. This knowledge and detachment, or knowledge of detachment, will awaken in the heart when there is Vidhi Marg. Vidhi means rules and regulations, Vaidhi Bhakti. Pure devotees, they also engage in bhakti, but that is spontaneous. Out of great love for Krishna, they engage in bhakti. But we have to engage in bhakti despite our dislike or disinterest in the beginning. Because I understand I have to cure myself. I am not actually doing bhakti, I am curing myself now in this Vidhi Marg. This is called Vaidhi Bhakti. So that is why rules and regulations have to be followed very, very strictly, 100%. We should not make any compromise. Let me be very eager to know what are the rules and let me try to follow. And then spiritual master will be very kind to give us knowledge and renunciation. And of all the rules, which is the most important rule? So many rules we are supposed to follow. Every rule is important. If we take discount in any rule, then there is Davagni, there is fire. We cannot have any discount.
But of all these rules, there is one rule which is most important. What is that rule? First regulative principle Prabhupada tells. Yes? Chanting, yes. Chanting is the foundation. It is the first regulative principle. But this chanting, as we discussed, it has to be offenseless, without offenses. Offensive chanting means the same chanting may bring us material opulence and which will bring material distress. The same chanting may create troubles in our life. If our chanting is offensive, if we don't try to reduce offenses, then weeds will grow in the heart. Same chanting and hearing will result in material desires. Then we would like to become famous among the devotees, or again have some material position. Weeds. 6 kinds of weeds are described by Rupa Goswami. Puja la pratishtha, kutinati jivihinsha, nishiddhachar. These are 6 weeds. You pour water because you want to nourish the crop. But instead of crop, the same water is taken by the weeds, and the weeds choke the growth of the crop, which is the purpose of maintaining the farm. So that is why these weeds, they arise in the heart. What are the weeds? Puja. Puja means tendency to be worshipped in this material world, to be adored. Yes, people should respect me, people should honor me. Puja. Labh means profit, mundane profiteering. In devotional service, also we start seeking profit. Pratishtha means prestige. Yes, I want to be famous as a preacher, as a devotee, or as XYZ, anything now. Oh, I've done so much service, you did not recognize me. Everyone got cookie, I did not. For cookie, we may not, but there is desire. We may not express at times, but at heart, we may feel bad. Oh, no recognition, I am doing so much service. So this is weed in the heart. This is called pratishtha. I also want recognition. Swamitasam Prabhu was very kindly telling. Of course, devotees don't reveal these things very easily, but Prabhu is very kind. So he was telling what should be our prayer and how I have prayed my entire life. So Prabhu is in a very important position, taking care of so many centers, so much preaching. And Prabhu always prays that Krishna, please never bring me in the forefront. Always keep me in the background. I never want to be materialist, always wants to remain in the forefront. They want to be in the limelight. But Prabhu tells, I always prayed that please never bring me into limelight. Always keep me in the background in your service. So this is called actual Vaishnava attitude. But if we are doing offensive chanting, then the same chanting and hearing will result in desire. I should get recognized. Prabhu was telling that. Sometimes we give some VIP treatment to some devotees. We have to give. Otherwise, how shall we organize such big festivals? So much money is required. And sometimes the VIPs, they tell, please, Prabhuji, don't take my name. And when he's telling we should understand, he's reminding, please take my name. नहीं प्रभु कुछ नहीं खाना है. So, आज तो, so they will tell. So Prabhu told once, actually it so happened, we did not take his name. So then he came next time, he told Prabhu, do not take my name. But if you want to take here. Take in this order. So there is desire. This is called pratishtha. Yes, they are nice people. They are devotees. Otherwise, many people we approach for support. They tell no, we do not have resources. We do not have time. They don't support. So they are definitely devotees, but they want recognition also. So this is called pratishtha. So if we are not cautious, such desire may arise in our heart, and sometimes there is neglect. Then we may feel offended. So we should be very, very careful. So in our vacations, we would go to our village. Grandparents were living in village. So in village, there was no electricity also. So what business shall we do? We'll go to the fields and remove the weeds. This was activity of kids. Spend time, eat there, play there, and then remove the weeds and come back home. One of the activities. So we have to go and pluck the weeds out very carefully, and don't pluck the crop. Pluck the weed out. We have to be careful. This is weed. So in this manner, one has to be very cautious and carefully pluck out the weeds in the heart. Am I having any desire to again gain reputation in the devotional community or in the material world again? Am I having desire I should have puja, I should be adored by people? And kutinati, diplomacy, jiva hinsa, nishiddhachar. Nishiddhachar means breaking the regulative principles or the etiquette which is not expected, the standard behavior of there is a standard behavior for devotee, not following the standard behavior, nishiddhachar. And then jiva hinsa. What is jiva hinsa? Giving trouble to other living entities. The devotee's behavior should be so nice that nobody gets agitated. This is one of the regulative principle for devotee. Devotee should not put anybody into anxiety, human or non-human species. But if anybody is getting into anxiety because of my behavior, this is jiv hinsa, violence. And the greatest act of violence is not preaching Krishna consciousness. Because everyone is by nature, they are suffering here. And we have the remedy, we have the cure, medicine. Simply if we give them this devotional service, all the problems in their lives will be solved. And if we do not preach, this is called Jiv Himsa, Prabhupada describes. So we will stop preaching. If we are doing offensive chanting and hearing offensive devotional service, then our preaching will be stopped. We'll be satisfied with convenient life for ourselves because we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Material conveniences will come on our way, and we are satisfied with that. Then preaching is stopped. This very, very dangerous Jiv Hinsa. So one should be very careful of all these weeds and remove them as soon as we see them sprouting up. So offense-less chanting is required. That cleanses the heart. How to do offense-less chanting? Offensive chanting, one should not stop. Yes, that I'm doing offensive chanting. Oh, let me stop. No, that is not the solution. The solution is to make it offenseless. Everyone starts from the offensive chanting. So one should sincerely try to come out of the offenses. And how shall we come out of the offenses? How to make our chanting offenseless? What does Prabhupada tell? What is told in the scriptures? What does Rupa Goswami say? Yes, 10 offenses are there. They have to be avoided. But we all know 10 offenses. So what is that thing that we have to do? So of course, first of all, grossly, we have to read the 10 offenses. We have to be aware of the 10 offenses. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees. Never blaspheme the devotees. The devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name. They might be having 100 faults, does not matter. Everybody is having fault. But they have dedicated their life for Krishna. They are very dear to Krishna. They are trying their level best to follow and to preach. So one should not blaspheme the devotees. Never pick fault with the devotees. Otherwise, the same fault as I was sharing with a devotee yesterday. So one devotee got very much disturbed that how this devotee can behave like this. It is such a gross mistake. How is it expected from a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness for such a long time? And he was very much disturbed because of this. And he was telling, I can never dream of doing this activity. How devotees can do that? And next week, he ended up doing the same activity. And again, he dropped a message, Prabhu, I'm very much disturbed. So Krishna is very kind. So as soon as we pick fault in the devotees, the same faults develop in our person immediately. So we should be very, very cautious, not pick up faults. If we see qualities, good qualities in other devotees, those qualities will develop in our heart. And if we see so-called faults in the devotees, those faults will manifest in our person. So we should be very, very respectful. This respect is very much required for the devotees and for the living entities in general. When we have genuine respect for all the living entities, then we can chant holy name without offenses. So not blaspheming, especially the devotees. Otherwise, one should have respect for every living entity. Second is understanding the supreme position of Lord Krishna, understanding even the top demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they are not independent. Everybody derives his or her powers from the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. Nobody is independent. So considering them equal or independent of Lord Vishnu, that is offense. Third is disobey the orders of spiritual master. One should very strictly try to follow all the orders, instructions, blaspheme the Vedic literatures, consider glories to be imagination, and breaking the rules and regulations on the strength of holy name, sinful activities, committing sinful activities on the strength of holy name, considering Hare Krishna as auspicious activity, do this and mundane prosperity will come. This is also offensive chanting. We should not do this. Like Prabhupada tells, there was a, I think, plague in Calcutta, and nobody was able to find solution. It was plague only. Then they all, Prabhupada told, everyone did Sankirtan, and people from all the faiths, Muslims, Christians, everyone, they joined in Sankirtan, and the plague got subsided. But Prabhupada told we should not take to Hare Krishna for getting rid of a disease or any problem in our life. For this, many auspicious ritualistic activities are recommended. Hare Krishna is not that. Hare Krishna is purely devotional service rendered for the pleasure of Krishna. It is a prayer. Please engage me in your service. I do not want anything else. Please do not remove my troubles in my life. I am okay with all the troubles, but please let my devotional service not be stopped. Engage me in your devotional service. So, Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a prayer to engage in devotional service just for the pleasure of Krishna. So, taking it as an auspicious activity is an offense. To instruct a faithless person is offense. Maintain distance. Prabhupada tells you are going to convert him, but he will convert you if he is very strong. So don't try to become big preacher immediately. If you are not strong, he will convert you. And 10th offense is to not have complete faith and to maintain material attachments and to be inattentive. Attention is the key. One should be very, very attentive in our reading, in our chanting, in our hearing, in our every sphere of devotional activity. Attention is the key. Respect and attention. So we have to practice all these things. But it is very difficult, correct? Even though I do not want, but I end up criticizing the devotees, if not grossly fighting. Even though I do not want, I disobey the orders of spiritual master. Even though I do not want, I maintain material desires. Correct? Even though I do not want, I commit sinful activities on the strength of holy name. I do not want, but still these offenses are happening. So what solution Prabhupada gives? One solution Prabhupada tells. Two solutions. What is that? If you commit offenses against Krishna, then what we have to do? We have to take shelter of holy name. Holy name is more merciful than the personality of Krishna. It is not different, but more merciful. And if we commit offenses to holy name, then we cannot go to anybody else. Then Prabhupada says we have to simply chant. Such a person who is committing offenses against the holy name should continue to chant holy name 24 hours a day. In this way, one will be freed of the offenses. We cannot go to anybody else. We have to continue serving the holy name 24 hours. That is why Prabhupada told constant chanting is required. So 24 hours a day we should chant, and that will bring us to platform of chanting without offenses. There's one solution. But there is another solution which Prabhupada tells, and Prabhupada also tells, unless you do this, you cannot chant holy name without offenses. What is that thing? Prabhupada explains. Manatumi Kishera Vaishnava. He says, what kind of Vaishnava rascal you are? Nirjanera ghare pratisthaya tare. Simply for cheap adoration, you are living in a secluded place? Tav harinam kevala kaitava. Your chanting of so-called Hare Krishna mantra is simply cheating. So somebody can tell, okay, let me chant 24 hours now, sitting in one place and become freed of the offenses. So Prabhupada explains, no, your chanting of so-called Hare Krishna mantra is simply cheating. He has said that one must be ready very vigorously. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never said that you chant. Prabhupada is telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never said that you chant. What does it mean? Mahaprabhu told you chant Cheto Darpan Marjanam. He gave only 8 verses. And all these 8 verses are about chanting. Cheto Darpan Marjanam Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Then everything else. What should be our mood while chanting? How do we advance in chanting? The beginning is chanting. But Prabhupada is telling here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never said that you chant. He has given certainly the chanting, but so far as mission is concerned, he said that every one of you become Guru. Amar Agyaya Guru Haya Tara Ei Desh. And deliver, preach that people understand what is Krishna. Amar Agyaya Guru Haya Tara Ei Desh. Yare Dekha Tare Kaha Krishnopades. Prithvi te aache yat nagaradi, that is his mission. It is not that become a big Vaishnava and sit down and imitate. This is all rascaldom. So don't follow this thing. So at least we cannot advise you in that way. We have learned from our Guru Maharaj that preaching is very, very important thing. And when one is actually an experienced preacher, then he is able to chant Hare Krishna mantra without any offense. Before that, the so-called chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, you may practice without any offenses. And giving up all other business to make a show off as a big Vaishnava, that is not required. Prabhupada tells very clearly. And Prabhupada tells, this I have learned from my Guru Maharaj. And Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj learnt it from Parampara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told. So we have to understand that in spiritual life, the basic principle is mercy. There is nothing without mercy. That is why the acharyas are praying. I do not have power to chant the holy name on my own. I have no power. Ekaki amar nahi paya bala hari naam sankirtane. I have no strength to chant holy name without offenses on my own. So kripa bindu diya, give me a drop of your mercy. So it is not possible to avoid offenses. Yes, we have to try as a matter of duty, but we cannot avoid without receiving a drop of mercy of pure devotee. Therefore, he is praying, Gurudev, Kripa Bindu Diya. So, mercy is required. Mercy is the key. By mercy, there is all success. And when does mercy come? When we help in the mission, when we understand the mood of the personality. Yes, the pure devotees are pleased. Krishna is pleased. If anybody is doing any kind of devotional service, they are pleased. But they have a very strong urgency, a very strong mood here. And what is the mood? The mood is simply to carry out the order of their spiritual master. Every spiritual master's only mission, only purpose is to execute the order of their spiritual master. And what is this order? Which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given. Yara dekha tare kaha Krishna Updesh. Amara Gyaya Guru Haya. So Prabhupada is told to the extent that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never told you chant. Never told means, yes, chanting is required for Janma Sartak Kari. Yes, you make your life perfect, but then Parupkar is the ultimate objective. But should not stop at that place. There is a Bhakti Vinod Thakur, when he's begging for mercy, when that day will be mine, when I will have respect for all living entities, I will chant holy name purely that day. And then finally in the last verse he prays, then I will go out to preach your order sublime. After getting empowered, after chanting very nicely, I want mercy to be able to go out and preach. So this is the special mood of the acharyas. So that is why Prabhupada has very clearly told. We have learned from our Guru Maharaj that preaching is very, very important thing. And when one is actually an experienced preacher, then he is able to chant Hare Krishna mantra without any offense. So one has to become experienced preacher to chant Hare Krishna mantra without any offense. So preacher is called Madhyam Adhikari. So one should not try to become Uttam Adhikari immediately from Kanishta Adhikari. One has to cross through the stages. Haridas Thakur, he was also preaching. He was preaching with Nityanand Prabhu, going door to door, falling at the feet of people. And when he preached rigorously, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him order to do this exemplary seva to the holy name, to present example to the world. What is the life in chanting? What is the life of a Paramahansa, the summit of devotional service? Just show this to people. What is power in chanting? That simply by the power of chanting, the prostitute can change overnight. Maya Devi got defeated. She took initiation from Haridas Thakur. What is power in chanting the holy name? That the people who wanted to kill him got tired but could not harm Haridas Thakur, could not inflict any misery upon Haridas Thakur. This is the power of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24 hours. But before exemplifying this behavior, he preached holy name. He was going, taking all the risk, falling at the feet of people, going door to door, requesting people to chant. In CC it is told, I think Advaitacharya only or some other devotees praising Haridas Thakur, that there are many people who behave very nicely but do not preach. Very nice. Vaishnavas Sadachar, etiquettes are there, following rules and regulations, but they do not preach. There are many such Vaishnavas. And there are others who preach, but they do not follow behavior. There is no Sadachar, no proper behavior. So some follow Sadachar very nicely, but they don't preach. Some preach very much, but they don't follow Sadachar. There is no proper behavior. But you are having both these things manifest in your person. You are having very good behavior as well as you are preaching Krishna consciousness. So then later, Haridas Thakur took to chanting continuously. So Madhyam Adhikari means preaching, Prabhupada tells. So from Kanishta Adhikari, from material platform, one has to rise to intermediate platform. That is called Madhyam Adhikari. Madhyam Adhikari is a preacher. He preaches very nicely. And by preaching, one advances further. One is able to have further purification and he elevates himself to platform of Uttam Adhikari. On being this platform of Uttam Adhikari, then one can chant Harinam without offenses. 24 hours, one will be absorbed. But before Uttam Adhikari, one has to, Prabhupada uses the word, one must be ready very vigorously. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's also order. One must be ready very vigorously. What is vigorously? With a great spirit. One should be ready very vigorously to carry out this order. Amar Agyaya Guru Haya Tara Idesh. Become Guru. Now, Guru is tough. Yes, it is tough, but one has to become. Just like the parents expect from their children. Become top ranker. Top ranker is difficult. But yes, the child tries as far as possible. Become very rich. Become successful. It is difficult. But then the child tries. See, in a similar fashion, becoming Guru is not easy, but it is order. So I should try my best to become Guru, to attain all the qualifications which are necessary to become Guru. Guru means preach this message, that kind of Guru, not Diksha Guru. That is very rare. For again, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given instruction, do not accept many disciples. So what does it mean? On one hand, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling that Amar Agyaya Guru Haya Tara Idesh, that you become Guru on my order. And then Mahaprabhu is telling, do not accept many disciples. So I am Guru without any disciple. What does it mean? It means you preach. Yare dekho tare kaha Krishna Updesh. Prabhupada explains this baby Saraswati, she is Guru. So is Saraswati giving Diksha? No. She is preaching. Do you know who is Supreme? Who is Krishna? No, I do not know. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada, this is Guru. So this kind of Guru, everyone is supposed to become. Don't accept disciples, but preach Krishna consciousness everywhere. So this is very important instruction. And this is very rarely understood also. That is why many Vaishnavas we see that they are following, doing everything very nicely, but this mood, it is very difficult to imbibe. What is the mood in which Prabhupada has come here? What is the mood in which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in which Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj has come here? That mood is preaching. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never said that you chant. He has given certainly the chanting, but so far his mission is concerned, he said, every one of you become Guru. Amara Gyaya Guru Haya Tara Eidesh, and deliver. Preach. Preach that people understand what is Krishna. And similar instructions Prabhupada has given in other places also. That this is better than chanting. In one lecture, Prabhupada explains, this preaching is better than chanting. Go face oppositions. It is not, preaching is not easy going thing. Go and face oppositions. And this is better than chanting. Of course, it does not mean chanting should be neglected, but one should understand that how do we get mercy? We are doing chanting to get empowered to preach, and by that preaching we get mercy of the spiritual master. We are contributing in the mission of the spiritual master. So Krishna is a person, Pritamanaha. Krishna became very pleased. Krishna becomes dissatisfied also, Krishna becomes pleased also. Similarly, spiritual master is also a person, and he becomes dissatisfied, he becomes pleased also. So we should always try to see how we can please them. What is their desire? And let me fulfill that desire. That is a way of pleasing spiritual master. So this is the sequence. We preach very nicely. For preaching, yes, we have to work very nicely on our chanting. Without chanting nicely, we cannot do anything. So entire focus should be there, that every day I should have very attentive chanting and hearing morning and evening and 24 hours a day. By this, heart will get cleansed. I will get empowered to preach. But preaching is important. By preaching, I will be actually get qualification to chant Hare Krishna mantra without offenses. And then such offenseless chanting will give rise to knowledge. That gives rise to renunciation, vairagya. And then we advance. Then Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. Immediately we get relief from all the Davagni. So we are so fortunate that very nicely, very clearly, Prabhupada has broken down, simplified the instructions. We simply have to implement in our lives. So we have to be very cautious. Prabhupada explains Davagni means forest fire. Forest fire is because of not Krishna, but because of our tendency to lord over, to enjoy this world. So we should be determined. No more tendencies. I should not have even a pinch of desire to enjoy in this material world. Prabhupada says minimize material enjoyment. Eating, sleeping, minimize. Just for maintenance you should do, to keep body and soul together. Don't try to increase now material enjoyment, material comforts. This is very important. Little pinch of desire, then we have to stay back in the material world. And material world is forest fire. So no pinch of material desire, and this is possible by offenseless chanting, that is possible by preaching. We'll end here. Any questions? The question is, if we come across a Mayavadi who is contaminated by the impersonalist philosophy, how shall he develop faith in our philosophy and advance? So that is why purification is required. We have to preach. And first of all, he should be willing to engage in devotional service. If they engage in devotional service, they can be purified. Like Sarbham Bhattacharya, Prakashanand Saraswati, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu converted. And yes, a strong Mayavadi is very difficult to convert. Thus, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned everyone became devotees except Mayavadis. So, some Mayavadis, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also converted, otherwise, they did not become. Everyone else became devotees. So it is very difficult. Mayavadi means they are offenders to Krishna. Those who are having very bad habits, they also became devotees. But the impersonalists, that is why Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Klesho adhikataras tesham avyaktasakta chetasam. Those who have got attached, asakt means attached to avyakt, impersonal feature of Lord. That absolute truth is energy. Klesha adhikatara tesham. There is lot of misery for them. There is misery because their path is very troublesome. They don't take to simple process of devotional service, unnecessary austerity, and that also does not lead to perfection. And even though after that they come to Krishna consciousness, it is difficult to remove those impersonal concepts from the mind. That is why there is a lot of klesha in the beginning, and after that also there is klesha they are not able to remove. I also was following impersonalism. It was very difficult for me to remove the impersonal conceptions from my mind for a long time. That long time became short by mercy of Prabhupada, but yet it was struggle. These concepts were not going. So if one is very strong Mayavadi, might be difficult to change. But if one is willing to engage in devotional service, we have to engage them very nicely. And another thing is don't offend them by calling an offender. "Oh, you are offender, you are Mayavadi, you are nonsense rascal." No. Prabhupada tells the way to change Mayavadis is be very polite and gentle. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu behaved so politely with Prakashan and Saraswati, their heart became very soft. And Prabhupada tells they are anyway offenders to Krishna. They don't like your philosophy. So if you behave not gently, they will become more inimical. So by our very gentle behavior, polite behavior, we should preach. This is the way of changing those who are against the philosophy. Yeah, yeah. The question is that in today's situation, the desires are imposed upon us by society and by family. So in such a situation, how is it possible? Because general people have to live with family. So how is it possible that we come out of this imposition which is acting upon us? So that is why we have to maintain association of devotees. If we don't have devotee association, we'll get influenced by such pressures. But if we remain in devotee association, then we'll be aloof. So that is why one should not very intimately mix with family members also if they are non-devotees. And one should not argue also, it is told. Say yes, yes, because they may not understand. But then we know what is good for us, and if we follow, they will also benefit. It will be good for them also. So we don't offend them, don't argue with them, but we silently practice our Krishna conscious principles. And materialists also they follow this. The child is smoking and drinking, family may not allow. He does very nicely. Family doesn't get to know. So when materialist is able to execute, we also can do that. So we should not create misunderstanding arguments. Silently we follow and maintain association of devotees. Mm. Yeah, yeah. So question is among the six weeds we discuss one is kutinati or diplomacy. So what is exactly this kutinati? So we understand diplomacy means something in behavior and something else in the heart. So Like people do politics outside. Here also we do politics. So that is not good. Devotee should be very simple. What is inside, that is outside. Yeah. Yes. 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 Correct. Correct. Mm. Mm. Ask this question. So the question is, the right age to understand Krishna consciousness is as early as possible, teenagers or children. But then how to convince children? It is very difficult. So that is why for children, it is a culture which is important. They cannot understand logics. So culture is important. Children imitate. Father is paying obeisances, child will fall automatically, correct? Imitate. Child will, father is smoking cigarette, child will also imitate. So children imitate. So that is why culture is required for them. So earlier Vedic culture was so nice from the very beginning. Children were being trained. So as of now, we have to just wait. If culture is not there, then we have to wait till they grow up, become little sane. Balastavat krida sakta, tarunastavat taruni sakta. But when they grow up, but at least their brain is also grown up. So that is why we have to wait. If they become little intelligent, 6, 7 standard is okay. They start understanding. They become good devotees at that level. So then we can explain to them philosophy. So we have to wait. There is no other way, but we have to wait till the time they become sane and little intelligent to understand. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, he was simply chanting. Okay. So the Prabhu is asking question that Bhaktisdan Maharaj, he chanted for by conservative estimates 4 years, and some devotees tell up to 9 or 10 years. 24 hours he chanted. He was chanting just like Haridas Thakur, Bhaktisdan Maharaj. He took a vow of chanting how many 10 crore names or whatever. And he chanted minimum 4 years, up to 9 or 10 years, also they tell. 24 hours. Practically, he was not eating, he was not sleeping, just chanting 24 hours. And it is told that he would sit in a cottage, and when it rains very heavily, there is no time for him because he has taken vow of chanting so many rounds. So he'll take an umbrella and continue chanting even though water is falling from the roof. So such were his vows. And he would, again, in eating also, and so much tapasya he did. And then he got empowered to preach. So we also understood we have to preach, but we don't do any such tapasya. Or should we do? What is the understanding? So understanding is yes, if we can do, we should do. We should also go and do. So that is why some devotee asked Prabhupada that Prabhupada is imitating Haridas Thakur. So Prabhupada told, yes, imitation is also good, but he's able to imitate. Is he able to do that? And imitation should not be at the cost of service, Prabhupada explained. That I'm cheating, I'm lazy, and I'm doing this thing. Otherwise, if there is time, just chant. 24 hours you chant. So yes, we should do that. That is very nice. That is a way. Rigorous austerity, serving the holy name exclusively. By this, Haridas Thakur got empowered. Sorry, Bhaktisnand Maharaj got empowered. But we cannot do it. But Prabhupada is very kind. We can do same result by engaging in service, following the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. So, the same result, that is why it is told in Satyuga, a lot of austerity was required. That we can attain by chanting the holy names. So chanting also we cannot do like this 24 hours. So if you follow Prabhupada's instructions, engage in service the way he is recommending, we'll get empowerment. So the secret lies in following the instructions of your spiritual master. Seeing our condition, Prabhupada has recommended us, minimum you chant 16 rounds, do this thing and then preach everywhere vigorously. Vigorous preaching Prabhupada tells you should do. And then we'll finish. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की